Now, as Michael just mentioned, Fair Work Australia will now have to arbitrate a new wage agreement for Qantas pilots, engineers and ground staff. The pilots' union and the TWU, the Transport Workers Union, had sought a further 21 days to try and resolve the matter themselves with Qantas directly, but Qantas rejected that request.
Qantas today was unable to reach agreement with the pilots' union or the TWU in Fair Work Australia. The process now goes on to binding arbitration. That binding arbitration process could take a number of months. During that period, there can be no industrial action by any of the unions. At the end of that period, there will be an agreement that could last up to 4 years. This now brings certainty to our customers, to our employees and to our shareholders. Qantas will be happy to accept the adjudication of the independent umpire, and we call on the unions to also accept the independent views of that independent umpire.
Alan Joyce speaking yesterday. Now, Mick Pieri is a senior airline official for the Transport Workers Union. He joins us now from Sydney. Mick, good morning. It's a good thing, isn't it, that this is going into arbitration, that the matter will be independently decided by the industrial umpire?
Yes, look, good morning. Look, it's not a bad thing, but it's a sad day when a workforce can't sit down with their employee, their employer, and not be able to settle with an agreement. So we're not scared of going to arbitration. I don't think at any stage did Qantas want to come up with any sort of negotiations or an outcome that we could reach before the arbitration.
Could you have gone to arbitration earlier?
Look, we probably could have, and hindsight's always a great thing. You know, let me just tell you...
This is not hindsight. A whole lot of Australians would have been thinking for months that you guys should have been in arbitration.
Well, it shouldn't happen. I do hundreds of negotiations every year with companies, and we've never been stonewalled before. I mean, the most progressive negotiations we've done were in the last 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, we had only 5. The last one was yesterday. So prior to that, we had 4 negotiations. We had an opportunity to have 21 of them. Qantas came to 4. And of those 4, we made more ground than what we did in 7 months. So the truth is, did Qantas really want to get an outcome?
Well, it's a question, I guess, that's yet to be answered. But I guess it follows logically from what you're saying in accusing Qantas of stonewalling through these meetings, that arbitration actually suits them better than it will the unions and the workers. Is that your assessment too, that they have more to gain from the arbitration process?
I think they believe they have. We're not scared of arbitration. I think what we've put on the table is a fair outcome for the workers and for the company. We've put a lot of scenarios to Qantas, including a wage freeze, to help them through what they believe they may need. They're not interested. They want to change the way the whole process and EBA is set up, and I think that will come out through arbitration, and that will be good for our members.
So you think, so even while you say that you think Qantas believes arbitration will be a better outcome for them, you're not afraid of it, and you actually think it might turn out to be better for the workers, do you?
Oh, absolutely. Our workers are after a fair outcome. Don't forget, we're still in a work choices agreement, and hopefully we can come through that's slightly better than a work choices agreement. So we're not scared of it. I heard Alan Joyce yesterday saying that this could be a 4-year outcome.
Yeah.
Well, it was the TWU that put that on the table. You know, we've tried everything to get this over the line. And one of the things with arbitration, I think the Australian public will see, is that the unions have done everything possible to get this over the line.
Well, look, remind viewers this morning of just exactly what it is that the TWU members are after.
Look, the major thing right from day one, everyone keeps talking about pay, it's about job security. And what we mean about job security is that they've made it very clear that none of the people working again on this EBA or in the future will ever be employed on this EBA. And what that means is they're going to outsource the work to a labour hire company on lower rates, and slowly but surely the people who are working there now will be pushed out. People getting a pay rise now will be probably $10,000 a year worse off. We're talking about a lot of workers who are part-timers who will never have the opportunity to be made full-time ever again.
And
it's a sad day for Australian workers.
And so you believe that arbitration will somehow guarantee that over time and through attrition that workforce can't be gradually replaced, that Qantas will be prevented from outsourcing any of its employees? I mean, it's hard to imagine any arbitration system that would lock any company into that expectation and agreement.
No, what we're saying is I think there's a fair process that can be out there. We're not saying it needs to be locked in, but these workers have made this company what it is. And when you do an EBA, which is an enterprise bargaining agreement, you don't do that so you're disadvantaging your worker. So hopefully going forward, we'll be able to get all that out and into the EBA. All
right, and just finally this morning, Mick Pieri, how long do you believe this arbitration process will go on for?
Look, no one will know. This is pretty new for everybody.
Right.
I heard yesterday they're talking about 6 months. It could be. I do know that the Act states it as quick as possible.
In the meantime, we'll all be able to get on and off planes that we book with Qantas. No doubts about that?
Look, absolutely. And you know what? At no stage did we want to be taking industrial action. Okay? We weren't given much choice. Like I said, Qantas never came to the table. Also, when we used to go out for 1 hour to have report back meetings, Qantas would lock us out for 3. Everyone would say that's fair enough with Qantas, but they escalated it as much as anybody. And yes, the stop of industrial action happened 3 weeks ago when we went to the Commission in the middle of the night.
All right, Mick Pieri, good to talk to you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.